Good evening, visitors, and welcome to the Australian War Memorial's Last Post ceremony. My name is Sharon Bown, and joining us today from the Royal Australian Air Force is Squadron Leader Gauri Singh. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. We acknowledge the members of RSL and Services Clubs Association, RSL Victoria, and RSL Queensland, who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths and floral tributes will be laid at the base of the pool of reflection by visitors to the memorial. Please stand and join me in singing the national anthem. Those that require a seat, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help Australians to understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 102,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths and floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the pool of reflection.
Today we remember and pay tribute to Private William Weeks Ball. William Ball was born in April 1890 in the Melbourne suburb of Prahran, the fourth of 9 children born to Robert and Sophia Ball. When William was a child, his family moved to Dandenong, and it was here that he spent most of his life finding work as a carpenter. Ball enlisted in the Australian Imperial Force on the 31st of October 1916 at Warragul and began his military training. Less than 2 months later, he sailed from Melbourne aboard the transport ship Medic, bound for England as a part of reinforcements for the 58th Australian Infantry Battalion. Upon arrival in England, Ball continued his training in Harcourt in Wiltshire. His training was, however, interrupted by a serious illness of pneumonia and pleurisy, which saw him hospitalized for over 2 months. By May 1917, he had recovered from his illness and rejoined his training unit. And in July, he sailed for France and the war on Western Front. Ball joined his unit for the first time in field on the 11th of August 1917, when they were resting and training behind the lines in the circus area near Ypres in Belgium. He served the 58th Infantry Battalion, which formed part of the 15th Brigade of the 5th Australian Division. On the 17th of September, Ball and 58th Battalion began to move from circus area to the front lines near Polygon Wood, the remains of a young plantation that had been destroyed by the war. On the 25th of September, the day before what would become known as the Battle of Polygon Wood, Ball's unit came under heavy German high-explosive artillery fire before a series of small-scale German assaults were launched. Troops from the 58th Battalion successfully repulsed the German attack, but suffered heavy casualties. Ball was one of 41 soldiers of the 58th Battalion killed on that day. It was his first experience of battle after months of training and illness. He was 27 years old. News of Ball's death caused great sadness in Dandenong, where the flag of the town hall flew at half-mast to commemorate his sacrifice. His older brother, Robert, wrote in the local newspaper, "My heart is sorrowed. My dear brother's presence I will miss through life to roam. O Father, keep watch over his lonely grave so far, far from home." William Ball was buried in the Hooge Crater Cemetery in Belgium, where over 2,300 soldiers of the First World War now lie. His name is listed on the Roll of Honor on my right, amongst almost 62,000 Australians who died while serving in the First World War. A photo of his headstone is displayed besides a pool of reflection. This is but one of many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Private William Weeks Ball, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Poziere or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes this evening's last post ceremony. We thank you all for visiting the Australian War Memorial, and we wish you all a very good evening. Thank you.